what I have realized about pursuing those passions, there's always going to be a but. You go online and like, oh my God, waking up and immediately going on your phone. Like, that's just so bad for you. You need to be doing yoga. You need to be eating cottage cheese with carrots and mustard. I feel like people are putting that over the 20 minutes to an hour that I personally need to scroll on TikTok, and then the additional 10 minutes I need to go sit in my bathroom on the toilet and then scroll on TikTok some more. Hey y'all, welcome to All Things Growing, a podcast dedicated to supporting you on your journey of self-discovery and growth. Here we talk all things life, navigating different seasons, lessons we're learning, and how we're turning our dreams into reality together. Be sure to follow the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at All Things Growing Pod, and follow me at Eshe Ukweli on TikTok, Instagram, and all other platforms. Hey y'all, hey. My name is Eshe Ukweli, and I'm your host. If you haven't seen my lovely face before, I am a journalist, I'm a content creator, and I am currently NYC based. A lot of the girlies who already know me knew I was DC based, but I'm finally here in New York City, and I'm so happy to be here. Now, let's get all the important stuff out of the way. I am a transplant. I'm originally from Boston. I know there's beef, but there's no beef on my end. I'm respectful. I'm grateful to be here. I am a Sagittarius, so I will be yapping a lot, as the premise of a podcast is to yap. 24, I graduated from Howard University maybe like 2 years ago. And overall, I'm just really excited and happy to be adding this new title of podcaster onto the list of the things that I do. I think I've always really wanted to have this space for me to just chat. I think you can't really do that on TikTok because it's so short form. And so I'm really looking forward to having this space to unpack all the things that I feel like we're going through as Gen Z folks, as people in their 20s, and as people just trying to figure out life. And so that's exactly what this space is going to be here for. Oh, and I do have to make an important notice. While my name is African, I am not African. We do have to get that. We do have to get that out there. But you know, my name has a very deep meaning to me, but I'm not African. African American, yes, but not African in the way you might assume. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about pursuing your passions and actualizing the life that you want to have. And this is really coming from where I am right now in my own life. As I mentioned, I just moved to New York City, and I'm in this place of really trying to ramp things up and trying to get myself together. And my first thought was that you always sort of run into roadblocks when it comes to these kinds of things, because pursuing your passions and finding the time to do all the things, like I really do believe, I don't know if it's just me, I don't know, I feel like it really is like a marker of like Gen Z, where like we really have realized that we don't have to just be one thing. We have the leisure and we have the luxury. Many of us, you know, have the luxury to do one thing if we just want to do that one thing. But a lot of us want to go after and be these multifaceted people and be these multifaceted creators or engineers or artists or people in our family. Like, we hold so many titles. And what I have realized about pursuing those passions and finding that life is that it's going to be difficult. There's always going to be a but. And I think our brains sort of trick us in thinking that there aren't going to be these moments of competing priorities. Like there aren't going to be moments of, oh, I want to do this, but I don't really want to do that. I want to make time for my friends, but I don't have the time to do so. I think our brains sort of trick us into thinking that those times aren't going to exist. What I've really come to realize is that our life isn't sort of lived in these like highs or lows, but our lives is lived in these gray periods of like, there always is going to be a but. There's always going to be something better we could be doing with our time. There's going to be something competing with like our priorities. There's always going to be something competing with us pursuing our dreams, pursuing our passion, and building whatever life that we choose to build. But I realized that it's about creating time for the things that we want to do and making time in spite of. It's so funny that it all is sort of boiled down to that. Because whenever I'm thinking about like, and you're filling out an application for a job and they have the little nasty skills section where they're asking you like, what are your skills? And you put time management down there. I know I've definitely been victim of this, of thinking just time management is like, oh, I can switch from one task to another. But that's actually not all that it is. It's really about understanding what's important in the short term, what's important in the long term, and then how do you balance that out? And neither one of those categories are more important than the other. I think oftentimes, especially in this age of like social media and what I'm seeing on the internet, it makes you sort of feel like, quick little side rant, social media, you're seeing the things, you go online and like, oh my God, waking up and immediately going on your phone. Like, that's just so bad for you. You need to be doing yoga. You need to be eating cottage cheese with carrots and mustard. I feel like it's so heavily focused on almost like making your time like work, like literally making your time into something where if I'm not productive at this point in the day, and if I'm not doing this, then I'm not doing anything. And I feel like that goes into that whole point of prioritizing maybe those long-term goals of being healthy and of having this like abundant life and eating right and like waking up and doing productive things, I feel like people are putting that over the 20 minutes to an hour that I personally need to scroll on TikTok, and then the additional 10 minutes I need to go sit in my bathroom on the toilet and then scroll on TikTok some more. Like, both of those things are equally important to not only sustaining like your passions and the things that you actually want to do, like the things that you want to be remembered for, the things that are most important to you, those don't rank higher than the 20 minutes that you need to be on TikTok. And I think when it comes to building the life and sustaining the passions that you want, it's about balancing those both. You have to have time where you can actually rest your brain, have fun, be young, do all the things, while the time to do the more long-term things, do the things that you know are going to benefit your life in the long run. But neither of those things trump the other. And the last thing I'm going to sort of say on this topic is that you sort of are what you say you are, and you are what you do. I think for me, like I said, I'm a content creator, and so I took a long break. My content creator history is sort of, I started creating while I was at Howard. And you know, I'm a college student. People are interested around like what's going on at Howard, and you have like this sort of way of pumping up content all the time. And then I just got to a point of, you know, I graduated, I'm in my post-grad life, I'm working my 9 to 5 and trying to figure out myself and not really like having like, what's the content? What are we doing with this? And so I took a really long break from making content. By really long, I mean like years. I took years in between posting videos to now. And throughout that span of time, I had sort of convinced myself also and needing to take the break, my content wasn't good enough, or it wasn't hitting the numbers that I wanted it to hit, and it was feeling a little bit forced. And so I was like, okay, how do I sort of shift this energy? And thinking and trying to shift that energy, I just got into a place of like, this wasn't good, and so I'm just gonna stop. And the funny thing is, throughout that entire time of me I'm sort of working my 9 to 5 and like I'm just sort of vibing, I would run into people and they'd be like, oh my God, you're just doing so much, like that's great. And I'm like, bro, I'm not, what am I doing right now? Ain't nothing, there's nothing going on. That line's not ringing, sweetie. There's nothing going on. I literally was just in a place of like, I'm not doing anything. So why do people continue to say like, oh my God, yes, like the content creator girl, oh my God, yes. I've not written an article in a long time. But like, oh my, yes, like, and that's because we literally are who we say we are. And then we also are the things that we do. Like, I think it's the comparison games, girl. It is so easy to get caught up in just, this is what everybody else is doing. And if I'm not like that, if my look isn't like that, if my body not tea like that, if my skin don't look like that, if my content doesn't sound or it doesn't do those kinds of numbers, then it's not good enough. And I'm not a content creator, or I'm not a singer, I'm not an artist, or whatever the case may be. If it doesn't look like this, then I'm not that. And what I have really come to realize is that you are what you say you are, and you are the sum of your actions. If you wake up one day and you decide, girl, I'm a creative, and that's what I'm gonna be, and you do a little bit towards that, and sometimes you rest and you don't do it, and then sometimes you do it, you're still a creative. And that still is good enough. You literally are who you say you are. And I think that is one of the biggest things that I've come to learn in pursuing my own passions, and sort of getting to this place of like, no, like I really want my life to look a certain way, and I don't want to spend years of just not really believing in myself and not really owning that and holding those titles as like, no, this is really what I do, and how do I make what I'm doing the best of what I'm doing. And so that's what I would have to leave you all with, and just say, as you're pursuing your life and pursuing your passions and actualizing your life and making it each day, each year, each month what you want it to look like, know that there's always going to be a but. There's always going to be a time when something isn't competing, or like there's always going to be some kind of excuse that you can do to not doing those things. There's always going to be a short-term thing and a long-term thing that you're trying to balance out and wonder, okay, do I have time to sit on TikTok? Do I have time to go out with my friends? Because I ain't been to the gym, I ain't done this, I ain't done that. But ultimately, in the end, it's about balancing all those things and not treating your life as something that has to be productive 24/7, and not treating your life as, if you're not doing it like this person, then you're not doing it, because you are literally who you say you are, and you are the sum of your actions. Thank you all so much for listening to this first episode, and if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. I am so excited to getting back into this space and doing it here with a podcast. I have so many different ideas that I want to do. We will have guests, we will have listener letters, and all of the things are coming. I want this to be a very interactive space. So if you have a topic that you want me to talk about, if you have a listener letter that you want me to give advice on, please feel free to send it in. You can email it to allthingsgrowingpod@gmail.com. Please be sure to follow me, follow the host. Hostess with the Moses at Eshe Ukweli on TikTok and Instagram and all other social platforms. And that's it, y'all. And until next time, stay you, stay true, and stay growing. Bye.